I need a home because I feel like we should own property, but I don't like debt because I've been brought up thinking that debt's not good. And I don't have any debt now. And then I'll be letting go of that no debt situation in order to buy property. I can't buy a property big enough for our family. So therefore it's going to have to be a rented property. And which means, oh, there's all these other risks. And then there's also, oh my God, but if I'm going to become an investor, well, surely I should invest loads and buy lots of properties. And I'm silly to only think of one. So there's all these sort of shoulds and all these sort of false beliefs that a lot of us have.
Look, it's not a bad thing to focus on one property at a time. It really isn't.
But I'd recommend it.
But I do want to grab on that point. They haven't seen a professional in this area, and you and I are huge on building your team and bringing your experts around you, people who are experts and stay in their lane. And I think having that big picture view of what they might be doing now and into the future. May they become a two-income family again in the near future? Could that be on the cards? Are more children on the cards? That big picture around the financial aspect, the financial planning, is really, really important. And that's way outside our area of expertise. But it is one of the first steps that we encourage people to do when they do your first time buyer guide, is to actually look at the big picture. Not say, I have to buy lots of properties, but have a look at your own big picture.
Exactly. Your life now, where it would be in 5 years, 10 years, where you want it to be, where you really, what you want the property to do for you, rather than just say, oh, I've bought a property and then like that's job done. It's like, what will the property achieve for you? Because that's the important thing. You know, is it going to be that you do want to build up an empire? And if that's the case, well, then you do approach it differently. But the thing is that if you don't buy a good asset, number one, like you'll never get around to number two or more. So the focus does need to be on that very first one that you buy, because you know that around 70% of investors stop at one property anyway. And one of the reasons I would hazard is because that first one doesn't actually do a very good job. And when I say doing a good job, going up in value, actually being an investment, it doesn't actually provide a good enough return that allows those people to use that as a foundation to build and buy
to work up to the next one.
And another thing too is about looking at debt differently, because debt is scary. Let's face it, particularly if you've never had it. We're talking, 6 digits or something, 7 digits potentially, depending on where you are. It's a huge amount of money, 30 years to pay it back or whatever. And obviously interest rates rising, all the rest of it. Debt is scary, no doubt about it. But if you buy a good asset, there's a reason for going into debt, right? And that is about buying a good asset that will go up over time, right? So therefore the risk becomes less about the debt, but in the actual property that you buy. That's really where the risk is. Heaps of people go into debt and buy really risky properties. They don't even realize it. They don't treat debt with enough respect, right? So you do need to respect debt and be somewhat fearful of it, but even more fearful, what you should be more fearful of buying a bad property,